Okay, we are back. I'm very happy to have on the Goldstein on Gelt show Dr. Ed Anhalt, who is the Dean of Education at International University for Graduate Studies, and he's the president of this very, very interesting organization called Banking on Kids. Ed, a real pleasure to have you.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
So one of the top issues that you deal with is savings and the importance of savings. Tell me something, how much does the average 50-year-old today have in total savings?
In this country, less than $2,500, which is mind-boggling.
Wow. How do they make it?
Yeah. Well, you got to understand a couple things. One, if you were in this country, you'd see that we have these places called check cashing stores, and I refer to them as legalized loan sharking operations, where a person can go to cash a check. They don't have any account in a bank, whether it be savings or whether it be a checking account, and they need a place to cash a check. So they go to these places and they cash them, and they give 30% away just to cash the check.
Wow.
It's mind-boggling. Yeah, so I mean, that's part of the mindset here, is that the people just have no idea on how to save, and they don't do any. We also have 25 states in this country that do not teach any kind of a finance course between 1st and 12th grade. So kids can go 12 years to school and never know anything about finance. Compound interest, which Einstein called the eighth wonder of the world, is never taught between 12 years of school. So
that's amazing.
That's
my 12th grade daughter was in class one. My day job is that I'm a financial advisor. I deal people who with brokerage accounts and financial planning, and so obviously I talk about it with my kids. My daughter said she came home from school one day in 12th grade, and they were talking about writing checks, and she said she was the only kid in class who knew even what that meant, let alone how to do it.
Right. Well, listen, my father came to the breakfast table when I was 10, 11 years old, talking nothing but stocks. And I learned the stock market at about 10 or 11. So I guess I had a heads up, even though I despised it at the time and thought there was more to life than the stock market. My father told me that it was the most important thing there was, and so you learn by who begat you, right?
Yeah, I think so. Well, I was partners when I got into Wall Street. I was partners with my mother. We were at a company called Dean Witter. She was a vice president there, and we were partners together. And my mother's mother was one of the first women to be licensed as a stockbroker in America. So I know what you're saying about talking about stocks. So
it all depends upon who your mentors are.
So you focus a lot on teaching children about money and banking. At what age can you really start, or should you start, to educate your kids?
I wanted to really start opening these banks in schools in high school, and realized in a very short period of time that high school was too late. Kids want an ATM machine in high school. They just want to take money out. They don't want to put money in. So our program is K through 8. We're teaching financial skills as early as kindergarten. And so by the time a kid gets out of high school, he's got thousands of dollars in his account. Whereas in high school, I couldn't do anything. The mindset is already made up.
Do you think, or do you find today's kids have more of a sense of entitlement, and therefore it makes it more difficult because they just expect to get the money?
Yeah. It really is amazing that it's all a matter of they're beholden to the fact that they feel as if they should have all these things coming to them, and that's a killer. You got to get past that.
What's the psychology behind it? In other words, you said before that the average 50-year-old has $2,500 in the savings. Is he not thinking about the fact that one day he's going to retire and he's not going to have anything to live on?
No, living for the moment, totally living for the moment. And credit cards, plastic is a killer. That's what really started doing people in. When you end up, owing $20,000, $30,000, $40,000. Now we got kids coming out of school, college, that owe $100,000 in debt, and I don't know how they're ever going to get by it. I don't know how they're ever going to get past that. So for the first time in my life now, their counselors in high school are telling kids that if they don't have parents who can give them the money, that they better not go to college if they don't have the money to be able to make it through.
Wow.
It's just too expensive. And so, yeah, I mean, we've got too many people in debt. And so this word retirement may become a word that's stricken from Webster's dictionary. I don't know how people are going to get there.
I guess they're learning it by watching the congressman. We're talking to Dr. Ed Anhalt, who is the Dean of Education at International University for Graduate Studies. He's also the president of an organization called Banking on Kids, which is really trying to teach young people how to manage their money. So, Ed, tell me, how can you actually teach someone?
Well, we put these banks in the school and let the kids run their own bank. And that's the putty of the program. I have a curriculum that I wrote that they can use in the school. But the real putty of the program is actually the bank within the school that they run. And that means every week they come to school with monies, put it into an account by the name of the school, and then eventually when they hit $10, they have interest-bearing accounts. They go to the bank with a parent or a guardian, and they do a cosign, and they then have an account in the bank, which they can go either to the bank or the school to make deposits from that point on.
And is this a real bank, or is this sort of a mock bank?
No, it's real money. The kids, they take in up to, some places take in up to $5,000, $6,000 on bank day, and they take that money over to a bank the same day and make the deposit into that sponsoring bank. And that sponsoring bank is the one who pays for all the costs of the materials, like deposit slips, ledger sheets, passbooks, denominational stamps, whatever it is. That's what the sponsoring bank pays for.
I see. How
and they get their name on it.
Right.
They get their name on it along with the name of the school, so it's great publicity for them.
How broad is this program now?
We have it in close to 400 schools.
Wow.
We've opened up maybe 400 schools in this country. I'd like to think it was 4,000. I have a meeting this coming Thursday at the NAACP. Do you know that organization?
Sure.
That's the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. Are doing a co-sponsored program using my program to try to initiate it into the urban schools in the city of Milwaukee.
Wow. How long has this been going on?
19 years.
So do you have records now, statistics to show that kids who've been through your program are financially more successful than those who haven't?
Well, the banks don't share any of that material with me because they don't really want me to have all the numbers. But my job is to do a ribbon-cutting ceremony, cut the ribbon on the bank, and get the heck out of there. They give them new materials each year to resupply them. But I don't really do much follow-up unless they tell me personally, on the side, and they've already done that, to tell me that kids have graduated high school with thousands of dollars, that they wouldn't have had if they wouldn't have been involved in the program.
I think the question is then, how do these kids turn out as adults? Are they then fiscally responsible?
I have no idea. Can't tell you. I've done no follow-up in that regard.
One of the terms that you've used is a term called unbanked or underbanked. What is that referring to?
Unbanked means someone has no existing banking account, whether it be checking or savings with a bank. And underbanked would mean, well, they use it once in a while, but they really have with no regularity. And this is a subset that represents somewhere around, I'm going to guess, 20 million people in the United States. And growing.
Wow.
They just have had no exposure to banks. And like I said, they'd rather go use a check cashing store and spend these ungodly amounts of money to just cash a check.
To get the money.
They've never been introduced to a bank.
So if you were going to give one piece of advice to a young person just finishing high school now and starting off in the world, what would you suggest?
I'd suggest they learn the stock market. They go in and they find out how they can actually put money into a company that earns 5%. And I don't care how much they're buying of that company, but let's say a utility that earns 5%, put their money in because that grows exponentially. A bank is what, half of 1%? Mm-hmm. So there are ways of beating that half of 1%. The first thing I try to do is get them into my program so they learn how to at least get started. But the next step, of course, is to do even better than you can in a bank, and that's where you end up being able to earn more than that half of 1%. You got to be pragmatic and get them started somewhere.
All right. Everyone's got to learn. I think the important part is what you're doing, which is educating people. And in the last few seconds, just tell me, how can people learn more about the work that you're doing?
Go to the website, bankingonkids.org. bankingonkids.org, and they can see all about it. And then, of course, they want more information, they can get a hold of me, and I'll be glad to help anyone out. I don't care where it is and what part of the world.
All right, and we will put a link to your website on the Goldstein on Gelt show notes at goldsteinongelt.com. Dr. Ed Anhalt, thanks for your time.
Okay, take care.
You've been listening to the Goldstein on Gelt Show with money maven Doug Goldstein. Doug's weekly radio show is heard around the world, but if you miss it, you can download the podcast at www.goldsteinongelt.com. The Goldstein on Gelt Show gives you up-to-date financial ideas so you can get on the path to financial freedom. If you'd like your questions answered on the air or off, send Doug an email to doug@profile-financial.com. It's your money for your future, so join Doug every week to build your wealth on the Goldstein on Gelt Show.